Welcome to the Day Trader and Swing Trader Setups watch list, where we look at stocks that broke out on our intraday alerts at the premium alerts at swingtradersetups.com. Intraday alerts create great day trading opportunities as well as carry forward for future days tradings on these breakout stocks. What we do is we review the live alerts that came out intraday on our website for our premium alert subscription holders. We'll keep up with 475 stocks there, and for the breakouts and the breakdowns, they're time stamped with the price, time of the alert, and the time of the post. And also sometimes, like UPS shown here, actually has been on the bull zone for about $7 from several days ago, and this morning it gapped down, and so when it came through the current bull zone breakout, it gave another great alert for an intraday trade setup. So we're reviewing those alerts from our watch list of 475 stocks, as well as scanning for 5 through 5,000 stocks at the end of the day for other alerts similar that came out on different stocks off of our watch list. By subscribing to our service, you're available to see these alerts as they come out early in the mornings or throughout the day. That gives you time to come in and review, see what stocks you might be interested in setting up a swing trade on. We even have these on a weekly alert, and weeklies are really for the long-term swing traders a better setup on a weekly alert, and for multi-day trade swing traders, these daily breakouts. You also have time to go select some options if you're an option trader before the close of business, since the video comes out after hours. Now we're going to take a quick look at the watch list for the stocks that triggered today, then a quick 3-minute tutorial on support and resistance levels that are on our charts for the new viewers, and then we'll get right into the complete list, and we will go through chart by chart and give you a 10-second view of each chart so you can see what might or might not be at support and resistance levels on these alerts. Thanks for watching our video. Subscribe to our channel while you're here. Good evening. Let's take a look at these alerts on the bear and bull zone. Again, don't get carried away with this market like it is. It's hard to get a read on what might or might not happen here, but these are technically what crossed the zones today or already previous days. A lot of these already crossed yesterday into the bear weekly. This stock barely got in there late day on the sell-off on Lilly, 471 down for the day, only 79 cents into the bear weekly. Give you a quick look at the list, then we'll do the 3-minute Q&A and get through these few stocks. There's your bull weeklies. Got a few more got added there today. Your daily bear breaks, and a lot of these could have bounced, but they didn't bounce far enough to get back above the bear break zone. They wouldn't be on this list. And the daily bull breaks. A lot of this is coming off some earnings plays, but many are not. So there's your list. You can pause the video and take a look, and we'll get right over into the charts after the 3-minute chart Q&A. This is a mini tutorial on what the lines mean on my charts if you're a first-time viewer or been a while since you viewed. We're scanning on weekly and daily charts for my condition. When this green line is up, it's my bull zone, and when the red line is up, it's my bear zone. You need to be aware of support and resistance lines, and what charts do at levels, and that's what these levels are for. Just quickly as I can do this, and we're going to put a video on YouTube getting more from your swing trading charts that'll be more detailed and look at more stocks, how they react to these lines. But the gist of what you see here is this is what I'm scanning for, and as you can see here, this showed up in the bear zone. It did go down for a few days, but these green lines are support, and that's why it fought for a few days, tried to bounce back up, headed back down again, came right back into the bull zone, a bear zone, excuse me, and continued on down. Now the lines, here's what they represent. A green line is a place that a stock went up to and rejected. So as this green line redrew itself every time we made highs right here, and then it stayed across here for reference points, continues the same line here for reference points. Resistance, when you get above it, becomes support. This green line was drawn way back in the history, and when this stock broke above this resistance level, when it came back down, it held it, it held it, it held it, it tested it and held it again and again. That was support. That's why I want you to be aware of what these lines mean, and you'll see them on my charts. And then the activity that stocks do, sometimes they go, that's my first target, that's my second target. Many times stocks go target 1, pull back a little, target 2, then they may pull all the way back to 1 and go again if they're continuing an uptrend. In this case, it did the pull back. This blue line is a 50 period moving average, this orange line is a 200. So that's what I want you to be aware of as well. And then I have a pivot system that consists of this blue line at the top, yellow line at the bottom, and my target 1 and target 2. You'll see this particular day this stock gapped down, huge gap down, open way down here. The low on this stock was 169.68. I'm getting that right out of this box over here, and the value of that yellow line was 169.67. Within 1 cent it held that line and bounced that day for a huge bounce. It's not a support level, but it's where I look for stocks to try to hold. It's where I look, if I'm short, say from here, this is where I'm looking to get out. I'm looking to move 2 levels, target 1, target 2, going up, target 1, target 2. The pink lines all represent places the stock has gone down to and bounced. This pink line is referencing this last pivot low. So as you're selling down into it, it may bounce again. If you get below it, then it becomes resistance. And that's all these lines mean. I just want you to know what they mean going forward. Thanks for watching the video. Let's get started. Okay, we're on the bears. DMV was on here yesterday, another $1.64 down today, total $3.54 since it crossed over. And it's really just sitting here today, right on top of the 50 week. It did try to go up during the day, hit the 200 day and rejected, and just sitting here on the inside day. So it may actually end up holding in this area. It's a pretty good sized pullback. Get back on the weekly. This is incorrect. It says weekly bear zone. That's not true. That's a fluke. Unless it gapped down here after hours. I don't think it did. Oh, on the monthly, I'm sorry. I knew there was something up. I've never seen an error like that, so here we go. We were looking at this yesterday. It crossed over yesterday. It was already on here, so still continuing. It's got down here to this support resistance area today, and did close slightly below it, it looks like, and here's your daily support line. It broke that today, closed below it. Jack on a weekly, real choppy stock. I don't try to trade this thing, but it's definitely making lower lows, and it's at a support line. I'll show you that on the daily. It's going to be these last 2 pivot lows right here on these weeklies. And there's your lines. That's those old weeklies just looking at. The line is actually at $90.89. It has been pierced before and held at $90.59, and it closed today at $90.99. So it's sitting on the line. Need to see what it's going to do. That don't mean it don't bounce right here, just because it hit the weekly bear zone in the middle of the day or middle of the week. Lily came down just far enough to close under the weekly bear zone after I believe it had earnings this morning. Stock was up about $4 pre-market or after hours last night, one of the two, and big down day, and through to the 50-day. A lot of times they just overreact and they turn around and bounce the next day or two, so you need to see what that's going to do. That was a huge sell right at the open this morning. And on the daily, it is down to a support line, and it is slightly holding there. That's this pivot low back here. You never know, may hold tomorrow. That's definitely a key spot for it. It's the last time where it held at on the last little run up on the daily. NUVA, it's already been down here the last week's kind of double bottoming today. Just setting up for this week for the first part of this indication that it could make some lower lows. And on the daily, it ran down here a few weeks ago. So it's at a key spot. It really needs to hold here. SMG's second day on this list, I think, from yesterday. This was a gap down, just to be clear. Yesterday closed below. I showed you this line last night. Closed below support line. What did it do today? Went back, retested, and rejected. It kind of opened at the low part this morning. This is how support and resistance works. But this morning, this actually, looking at a shorter term time frame, it opened up and actually sold off into this line on a 15-minute chart. It sold off early and then bounced, and when it came back up, that's where it stopped at. Here's your 15-minute opening chart this morning. Sold off about $5 in the first hour and a half. And when it bounced, when it ran back up here, first it ran to yesterday's close for one thing. Those are inflection points. And the high, let's just take the high of this bar so we can compare it. 91.92. That was not the high day. That was at the opening bar. So it went to 92.80 was the high day. 91.92 was that last little pivot spot. This line's value is 92.72. So this high at the morning at 92.80 actually pierced that by 8 cents and failed on the very opening of the day. Did the sell off, and then the bounce just ran back to yesterday's close. Basically all it did, rejected. That's the weekly bears. Look at the weekly bulls. BC been on here more than one day. It's actually down today. Just a little inside bar on the daily right below this support resistance line. It did try to get through there again today and failed. Still in the bull zone on the daily. EA is earnings. Gap up and sold off after the gap up, just to pull back off the open this morning. This thing could come back down to here on this daily 122.79. and that's about the same. That's the same place as this line here, about where it broke out from. It's heavily shorted stock, so it could, if they didn't get out today, it could really run this thing. This stock's part of it's already been on here a day or two ago. It's coming on up. Now these have both been on the daily bulls since back the middle of January. First week on the weekly bulls. S-Fly, I believe this, I don't know why this stock was up. It was up pre-market or after hours. Big gap up this morning. The open price was right there. So the gap up to here, and the rest of this. So this $13 profit is calculated from way down here, and it really was the open up here. You wouldn't have had a chance to trade all that. Big gap up into weekly old highs. Took out several. Definitely one to keep on the chart. I watched this today, never did really find a way to day trade it. A lot of stuff was real spready this morning. God, I might not took a trade at 10:30. I'm not sure. Let them all settle in, and then found some spots to get in a couple of times. Just once or twice this morning, and more after lunch. The trying to trade a bounce plays was not the thing to do today. In the morning, they were not running. They started out your AD lines. I don't know if you guys ever look at those or not. The opening of the day this morning, this is where the AD lines were. Went into an instant decline. Never really got a bounce. And then declined even more. A little bounce toward the end of the day. So all this time, more and more stocks are making new lows. So the shorts were the thing, and anything that tried to bounce. Just what I did is I took our F50 alerts, and which is a downtrend, a change of trend that have shown up, and every time I got a retracement alert put out, and I just traded the retracement alerts. Every time they ran back up to where I kicked the retracement alerts in, and they don't just naturally just say, okay, here's where you shorted at. I wait on them to actually make a reversal, which could be 50 cents or even $1. On a F50, it would be a factor of 2 or more, so it would be down. It would be reversed at least $1, and I alert it off to go back to the downside, and they'll give another multi-bar run down, a multi-factor, which can run, 3 or 4 times 50. That's $2, and then they bounce again a little bit. Another 2 to 3 factors back up, maybe 4, another $2 back up, and then just short them again, and just stay with the trend instead of trying to catch those bounces, because the bounces is not real predictable in a market like we had today. Did get some longs this afternoon. Picked up PII on a nice reversal, been sold off for 2 days, and I was in 3 trades at one time there. PII was the biggest one. Got AbbVie off the bottom after unsuccessfully trying to trade it on a bounce earlier, and I said, this ain't working, so I just started doing the retrace shorts. And it wasn't just on AbbVie, it was on about anything I saw trying to bounce was doing the same thing. So trying to fight the market if you're day trading is not the brightest thing in the world to do. Big run here. It's on the 15-minute chart. It's the weekly breakout here, but it had a big day today. You're at the 50 week. You had a support here last week. This held. Here's your daily chart. Ran up through the 200 and broke this old high. So really big candle here on this stock today. Had earnings. Hasn't had earnings. Excuse me. I thought that was a week ago. Hasn't had earnings yet. A long time away. So it was a nice breakout stock there this morning. pretty well oversold on your weekly. You've been in a pretty good little uptrend here. It's hit the daily bull zone a couple of times as it's worked its way up through this, and it hit the daily again today. And this could really do something coming up through this 200 here. You know, we had a pretty tough day, and this stock had a big day. So this is definitely worth paying attention to next few days for sure. And it could set up to a really bigger picture here. We'll get on the dailies in just a moment. While you're here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter or StockTwits at Daytrader Setups. And our website is daytradersetups.com and swingtradersetups.com. Don't forget, this video is being brought to you by our premium alerts at swingtradersetups.com. They're real-time alerts. They're posted on our website, and we're looking at our bull zone weekly and daily breakouts, and our bear zone weekly and daily breakouts that are in one category on the website. And there are other categories that are more aggressive for the more active trader as well. And by having a subscription to that service, you get all these alerts intraday as they happen, and one subscription gets you access to everything, as well as our chart system. If you would like to get it, I can set you up a couple of different ways to have the green and pink lines available for your charts as you review. Let's go forward. Okay, on the daily bears, second big down day here. This stock came in on the bear zone alert today, pretty much closed right there at it. Pretty good retracement there. If you drew a trend line, of course you broke the trend line yesterday. Sitting on the 200 day here, fighting this resistance above, and is in the bear zone. At the end of the day, it got here now. Remember, this went into bear zone up here multiple days ago. Main reason we show you the charts: one, I want you to see the 200 day, I want you to see the 50 day, I want you to see the alert, the lines for the support and resistance lines, and I want you to be aware if it's already been in the zone. I don't want you chasing. CRUS breaking down support. CVX held the 50 day today, first level down. You can't ever tell with energy what's going to happen. You also got this support level down in here and here, but that's another pretty good pullback, and this is actually an expected pullback down into here. If it goes any further, this could be about as far as this may go. Sitting on the 50 day, Disney just been in a chop sideways for weeks, about 2 months now. This stock likes to pull back sometimes, so it may do it. Sitting right on support line. Now, this has been in a multi-week base, and this is the first little sign of price instability. This is your support line right here, $95.22. Low today, $95.34. This gaps down tomorrow. This is what sometimes stocks do. They will gap down if they're already kind of trending down and running back up. We already seen a couple tonight that run right back up to that support resistance line they resist. So if you were watching this, you're like, hey, I'm thinking about shorting this stock. Tomorrow it gap down, it runs back up here and then heads back down. That's where you can make your decision at. It also gives you a real well-defined stop in that area. You don't want to have it to the penny. But this is an old high where it's rejected. It's got above it. It's held it. Now it's testing it again. It may hold it here. So you don't want to rush into something like this till you see what it's going to do right here. First sign, okay? EXP had earnings this morning. I actually had this on the chart during the day, but I never looked at it. I actually had it on the scanners during the day, but there were so many going off, I never even looked at it during the day. It sold off. Pretty choppy trader most of the time. Did have a good bounce here off of this support line, but it closed below the 50-day. Bang, another energy. Chevron was there a minute ago, just the first little sign of trying to break out its little base to the downside. I don't see any support lines here for a long way down here, and here's your 50-day up there, so that's a pretty good little drop. First sign, it didn't take out yesterday's low yet, so that would be your support line. If you drew a trend line, you've already broke that trend line. Big gap down on hog yesterday, closed below the 50-day, got the 200-day, opened today, failed them both, miserably sold off. Pretty good backup here on this stock. Stock's ran a long way. It's sitting on this little tiny previous pivot low. Right here. That's what the green line represents. And this actually came in the bear zone way back, lower part of this bar actually, right in here. So it's just a recross of a new bear zone has been calculated on this down trend. I wouldn't chase it, especially since it's run this far. You do got a weekly support coming in, which is this next level here that it's held well in the past as well. J&J, back up on this one. Earnings tomorrow, according to this. J&J lost the 50 today. I think they had earnings the other day. It seems like something was going on with them. You can see what they did. Here's your support line. It lost it, retested it, lost it again, and here you go. Draw you a trend line. You could have been in this trade yesterday or early this morning. Now, our bear break wasn't until way down here because of all this movement. It's not a consolidation. What I really want you to find is the consolidation trades that are in the consolidations and then they break out. Another one just been selling for several days. This is the stuff that our other alert system picks up way up here. It don't have to be all the way down in the bear zone. I just looked this up to see where it would have picked this up at on this downfall. My F50 alert picked this up at 67.32 on the 29th, or early in the morning. Lumber liquidators, first day in, coming out of a base. Not sure about the short availability on this. I'm sure there's some puts somewhere. You got this old supported area, it kind of held right back here, and that's just below it, and then you got another leg down that would bring you all the way down to here if this thing gets into a good sell-off. Also has been rejecting the weekly 200 all the way down through here. Now it's took out the weekly 50 period. Lily we talked about earlier. It's an earnings play. Not sure what it does here at this support level. Mickey D had earnings, sold off yesterday, a little more today. I don't know that they had. I think they had pretty good earnings. This is the actual support resistance line. It's a green line right back here, so it can actually hold here. If it does not, because it did close below the 50 yesterday, gapped above it today, and just took it right back out. So it could have some sell-off coming here. This is kind of a key level right here where it is, right in here. Gap down a little bit yesterday, losing the 50-day here. Another oil energy stock, another energy sector stock. Same thing. All of these look alike where they've been up here basing for a bit. They've all basically broke this little trend line. They probably broke old highs. Again, energy related, so I don't know what they do, but there's a lot of factors that drive that part of the market. Pilgrim's Pride. Boy, I remember when this stock was a quarter after the crash. It has sold off pretty good here. It's been in this base for a bit. It's coming back into the bear zone today, and it's sitting on support resistance. So now whether it might be finally sold off as far as it's going, I don't know. You got a 200-day here. You got this support line. It also shows up on my weekly chart. It's an old high that it had broke through, held it for weeks, and then gave the next leg up. That's a beautiful setup right there. When that bull zone came into play on the daily, there was a really nice breakup after this consolidation above support. Now it's sold all the way back to that support line on this weekly chart. That line is $27.79. So even though it's coming into the bear zone, it can hold here. If it don't, there's another leg coming, of course. Pretty key spot. It needs to hold. It really needs to hold here. Bounced off the 50-day intraday into the bear zone. Another energy stock, same basic pattern you've been seeing. Another packaged food company, lower base, breaking below the support. A lot different looking than Pilgrim's Pride. Pilgrim's Pride's on an old high that it based on here for quite a while. Now you're on this other stock and it doesn't look like that. So this is an entirely different look. This is probably your support resistance right here. It's closed below it. It's below the 50-week. And it's losing this support here. And there's an old high back here. Kind of lining up with the same general area. It's losing that. This has a higher probability of going down than PPC probably. Sitting on the 200-day, second day into this bull zone. Yesterday, I think it's a bear zone, slightly closed above it, and then today it opened there and headed back down. So it showed up today when it came through this level this morning. THS, just chopping around here around that number it triggered the other day and put in 2 green days. It's just re-triggering. Hadn't gone anywhere yet. Has earnings in a couple of weeks. It may just sit here till then. I wouldn't expect it really. Don't expect a whole lot right there. Another food company. Pretty assertive down move today through the bear zone, through support level, closed below it. Lost a weekly support, that same line, weekly support up here. A lot possible there. WAB lost this support here today. First into the bear zone, 50-day right below it is coming out of a consolidation. And WSM, retailer, lost the 50-day today, tested yesterday and barely held it, and then heading down. I have a big consolidation period here as well. On to the bulls. American Tower. Been working itself up, but it just finally got up into the bull zone. If you had a trend line, you'd probably already been in this trade. Did run into resistance today. This old high that was created way back before this, lost it, retested it, lost it. So now it's back there again in this cycle. Got a month off to earnings. This is a pretty strong running stock here. Really, the last few days in the market has not bothered it at all. This came out on our F100, which is generally for your swing trading. on the 24th, which was right here early in the morning, and it came out a little bit earlier than that on our F50. It first hit there on the 17th, which was this day, I believe. No, it was actually this day. Base sideways for a couple of days, and on this particular day our momentum alert came out on this, which was late in the day, almost at the close of business right here on this day, just right near the bell. So that's something you want to see there if you're looking at swinging something or even buying options. That momentum has already been in the uptrend. You get that momentum alert. Then you just watch it the next morning, see if it continues on up. And that literally was about 3:30 in the afternoon. That alert went off about 10 cents before the closing price. So that's a really nice move off that F50 alert. That's a $10 move in about 10 days. Don't know much about this stock. It's been sitting on top of support area for about a week and just had a big monster day today. You'd think something did drive it. I don't want you to be aware of your weekly resistance. It pushed through this morning, and that came back down. It's $35.98, and that's right where it closed. Same sector as AMT. Broke through this consolidation on the 50-day and this support line. It's not really coming out of a long consolidation period, which is what we want to really see on this alert. But it could be accelerating with the power that AMT's got. EA earnings, we talked about this earlier. KNX, gap up. Don't know anything about this at all. NEE, real choppy trader. Got no clue what this thing could or could not do at all. A strong company. It's just hard to trade it. You kind of got to be married to that one. QRVO gave this big monster day yesterday. I remember seeing this on my day trading stuff, and pull back really strong inside day to day, but it did close above the 200-day, and it did retest the 50. So that's pretty interesting, and we do have a long consolidation period, and it closed above the bull zone today. Interesting setup here. Volatile but interesting. This is your bear your bear list from the last 5 days: today, yesterday, day before, day before, day before. And then this is just this week's list down here. Remember, there's a video out on the weekend chart talk that talked about this recap sheet from a few weeks ago, back first of the year. This is your indicator for the strength and the breakout. This is what I call the trend stability. In the case of the shorts, is that it's not making high enough highs for me to get worried about it, and the check mark means it's maintaining itself below what I call my bear zone. And keep in mind, as these stocks are falling, this is recalculating. This line here is the level that the bear zone triggered at. This is the profit and loss from that, calculated from that number. If you had our intraday alerts, all of these are not over there. We do 475 stocks that we run this alert on middle of the day. And then I do you 5,000 here at night, so I might find something that you're interested in that I'm not running over on our intraday alerts. And these go back for several days. I also will show you this stock at its peak was a profit of $2.98. That would be at its low. This one here, good example. This low, it was a plus 1048 from this level, 984 currently. Got a good bounce out of this stock today. Just an intraday bounce. And make sure you can see them all here. We'll get you on the dailies. The reason for bringing this up, so you can just pause the video and you got to look at the whole list there. Here's your dailies. Last couple of days, of course, we hadn't had too much on the bulls. Today, yesterday, day before. Of course, this is for the big sell-off. So as you can see, most of these are not maintaining stability. They're not maintaining the momentum part of the trade, of course, and they're not maintaining the current bull zones. The few that are must be very strong in this weak market. I'll slide this one down where you can get a look at the rest of the symbols on the bottom of the list. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.